Hi guys, it's Joey or Rowan, and today's video is going to be about the element of spirit. Apologies if you can hear the weather. We've got a full-on windy, wet day going on outside, which has made me wish I had held off on the water element video for one day. I could have got some shots, but never mind. So today's video is about the element of spirit, and it's a really difficult thing to get your head around and talk about, so if I waffle, bear with me. I didn't even make any notes today. I've made notes for all the other videos because I wanted certain points to include, and this is one of these videos that for spirit that I think is best just to talk, so apologies if I ramble a bit. So it's also known as spirit, akasha, I think it's akasha, I think that's the right pronunciation, or ether. It's known as the first element or the fifth element, depending on what way you go and if you like Bruce Willis or not. I love that movie. Anyway, so it's basically, how's the easiest way of putting it? It's the top point of the pentacle. The pentacle has 5 points, and the top point would be spirit, with the others being the other elements. The element of spirit is everything and nothing. It is the place where all the other elements come from, exist within, and go to. It is the realm of the goddess. It is the goddess and God and deity, however you want to categorize it. Let's call it deity for ease, I guess, just so it applies to a broader spectrum. So it is the realm of deity and deity itself, because obviously deity moves through all elements on every plane. It is the place where the afterlife is all tied into. The problem with spirit is that it's such a huge how do I even explain it? It's so far beyond human comprehension that we have to basically simplify it down, like we do with everything to do with deity. That is why people choose to work with certain aspects of deity, because that simplifies it. That, you know, it all comes from the same place, and spirit, it comes from that place. It is creation and destruction. It is the beginning and the end. It is everything and nothing. It is everywhere and nowhere. Do I sound like a crazy riddle yet? Because that's what I'm afraid of with this video. It can be very difficult to represent spirit as well. And so I've been like going through my head what I can do for the picture video. And I think what we'll do, we'll show the altar and my representations of spirit. And it's interesting that the guardian is actually a star, and that's how that clicked in my head to talk about the pentacle or pentagram. Pentacles with a circle, and pentagram is just the star. I know these are the differences. It's first thing in the morning, and I'm a bit like that, and but I'm determined I'm going to do it, because then we can move on to balancing the elements and then some Yule stuff. So spirit is the human aura, the human spirit, the human soul, if you want to think of it as within. It is the realm of the spirits. It is the realm of the goddess. It is spirits. It is the goddess. It is everything that was and everything that will be. It's that something extra that you can never really define and put your finger on it. You will find definitions, and they will differ hugely, and that's because spirit is something you can't really see, feel. I think you can feel it. I think that's unfair. I think you can feel spirit, because whenever I commune with goddess, I start crying. And it's not a sadness, it's just I am moved, and that is the feeling, and tears start, yeah. You can't see or smell it or touch it. So you're a bit senseless. None of that. When it comes to spirit. And it's, yeah. Okay, so how do we use spirit or utilize spirit to honor deity? Well, the easiest way of getting around this, thinking about it, is considering the altar. So you see a lot of people share their altars, and me in particular, I love doing it. I'm like, look, because I'm excited about it, because it's the altar is a symbolic representation, a manifestation of your relationship with the divine, and that creation, that creativity, that expression is spirit. That human emotion, things that can be felt but not seen, the joy aspect of communing with deity. It's a physical place where it's a representation of spirit and your relationship with spirit. So it's everything and nothing. Does it make any, am I making any sense? I have no idea. I know what I mean because I feel it, but it can be difficult to communicate this, and quite often people don't bother. You'll see a lot of people who do, oh, these are the 4 elements and that's it. Well, there's 5. So and the time-honoured symbol of witchcraft is the pentagram, which of course has been misused or altered, and the media has sort of perpetuated it as a negative symbol, which it isn't. It's the balance of all 5 elements. So we have the altar and the physical representation. How else can we honour through spirit? Well, meditation is a really good one, and I may well do like a talk through of a meditation. I might well do that, like make one up and then talk you through it as I would do it, and show you how you could utilise all the other elements within a meditation. But then again, you don't have to. You could just set up circle and meditate. And the circle, of course, is a way of connecting with the spirit through an act of honouring, because what you're actually doing when you're casting a circle, I mean, a lot of people will say you have to cast it for protection, and that's true, but what you're actually doing is you're creating a world within worlds, a sacred space, a place created purely from energy and spirit, which you go into and feel comfortable and commune with deity, or honour deity, or do your ritual, etc. So that creation of a circle is a way in which we enter into the realm of spirit to honour deity. And it's very poignant that the circle, you go around and you honour each quarter. And a lot of circle casting instructions don't say honour spirit as a element. So you might then recite the god and the goddess charge, and that's frequently in books, but where is the spirit bit? Because I think you need to honour it as an element within itself as well as within deity, because it's starting to address the balance of what spirit is. We cannot, as human beings, sort of fully get our heads around what spirit and deity is, because we're human, where, you know, we haven't ascended to a level of understanding beyond human understanding and beyond what human understanding is today. So I think it's very important to honour spirit as an element when you're casting a circle. And the way I honour or visualise the elements as I go from corner to corner is by visualising them as trees. So you get a lot of different ways of doing it. People have watchtowers, people do, I don't know, all sorts of things, but I use trees. So for example, in the north corner I would visualise a great big pine tree decorated for Yule. In the air corner I would have a cherry blossom tree, a sakura tree, in the wind with petals floating. in the south, I sometimes alternate the south up a bit, either great big oak or some sort of desert tree, something like that. I quite often do a great big oak tree and then visualize it with like someone having a little bonfire away off from the tree. So maybe to, you know, like a hillside away, so it's being illuminated by it, maybe something like that. And then water is a willow with its branches floating down into some water. And then spirit is a crystal tree, basically. It's like I visualize a purple and white tree made of crystal. And I would call in each and every quarter. And I often say some spirit that has been here all along, you know. It's whereas you sort of call, say earth, you would, I call to the element of earth, please watch over me. I would then, for spirit, say I call to the element of earth who has been here all along and ask for your blessing, because spirit never leaves. I sometimes, you know, you can argue that the other elements don't really leave as such, but it's just sort of calling them more present, whereas I think spirit is always present. You know, it's like you know, your chakras and your aura, they're always present, they're always there, and there's something for you, you know, you should maintain. And spirit, within and without, everywhere and nowhere, is always there. So I think it's important to call spirit. I might be on my own, I don't know, but I think that's part of the balance, to balance spirit with the other elements. I think that's fair. So two other things I just mentioned, chakras and the aura. So these are things that the pagan community should be aware of, and to cleanse through yourself and cleanse through your aura, whether or not you can see aura or if it's all visualization. Chakras obviously being points on the body of energy with colours and all those simplified ways of viewing parts of self that connect to self, to spirit. And visualization and meditation are the two main tools for connecting with and honouring spirit. Spirit is always present in spell work. Think of your energy. Whenever I say, you know, you need to fill your energy, you need to visualize white light. Visualization and putting your energy into a spell is basically petitioning and praying to deity, the universe, etc., for the fulfillment of your wish or prayer. And that act in itself is you connecting with the spirit within, with the spirit without. That's what spell work is all about. You know, taking the spirit flows through us and we can connect with spirit in the universe, and spell work is one way in which we do that. Prayer is exactly the same thing. Whether or not you have tools there, it's the same thing. A spell is a prayer or a wish or a hope or a dream, and through constant visualization and action we can bring those things into the physical realm. It is possible to do so. And obviously people outside may be highly skeptical, may poo-poo it, and may be unsure. People within pagan communities may well be unsure. I know a lady who is a middle-aged mother and only recently had one of those moments where she had cast a spell and it had come to fruition like that, and it kind of freaked her out a little bit because she'd never had that happen quite like that before. And she told me about it and she was like, have you ever had this happen to you? And I was like, yeah. It's usually not in the way that you expect it to happen. The universe is usually like, I've decided it's going to happen like this, so you have to learn this first. And it's like I did a bring love into my life spell before I met my very awful ex, and when I realized that the love was the love after him, and it was only because I had been through that relationship that allowed me into the next one, that's how it worked. I had to learn this lesson before I got what I was after, and fair enough. And so how else can we honour deity through spirit? Well, figures and statues are probably the easiest way of honouring spirit, because the human experience is very, very difficult to take in the notion of an all-encompassing divine spirit that is male and female, is neither and both, is everything, is woo, and the human mind isn't really equipped for it, I don't think. I fully humble myself and bow down and say, I don't understand it all. It is a prerogative as a human to work with a goddess, my matron goddess, who is part and parcel of the whole. She is herself as well as a part of the whole. I hope this makes any sense. And it's an easier way to commune with spirit. Another way would be divination. Divination is tapping into that spirit. It's tapping in to that element, and you can honour deity that way, because you're working with it, which is, you know, an honouring act in itself, acknowledgement of it, and doing it in a respectful, oh my god, my brain, in a respectful and honouring manner, and acting on the advice, listening to what the divination is telling you, and listening to any signs outside of the divination. Like, quite often the universe is trying to tell us things. Dreams are a good example, and it's worth listening to them and going through the divination. That's not to, you know, it's all keyed into the unconscious and the subconscious, and that sort of really abstract way of talking. It is the act of purifying yourself and going before spirit and honouring them. It is the act of saying thank you. It is the act of being good to one another. It is the act of being the best person you can be, and growing and learning and falling down and making mistakes and living your life like that, and acknowledging when you're wrong, and even if it's to yourself and to the spirit, trying not to purposefully ruin the lives of others, and trying to be a decent human being in honour of spirit and goddess, in my ever so humble opinion. So I hope that made some measure of sense. I realise that it might be all over the map a bit, because spirit is a really abstract concept, but well, one of the most important things to start trying to scratch away at the understanding of, for yourself, for within, and for the universe without. So I hope I made any measure of sense in this video. Many blessings.